Hello and welcome to Q Sports. I'm Amudu Gajaga. Thank you very much for joining us. Coming up tonight, the Gambia national team, the Scorpions, will be involved in two friendly international matches. They will be playing against Democratic Republic of Congo and Liberia in Turkey next weekend. And the coach, Tom Sampien, has selected his 23-man squad, or the players he invited. We would see what happened, who is in and who is out. Also, we'll be looking at community football in Brikama over the weekend, on Sunday to be precise. There was a football final, the Super Cup final. That's the West Coast Zonal Super Cup competition between Gunjur and Brikama. Brikama hosted and they won by 3-0. We'll also be looking at Special Olympics. It's kind of a sports. Those who are involved in the sports, they have intellectual disability, but they're physical human beings like you and I. They just have a different look and they have a different way of doing things. We will also be talking about their sport. They were involved in a competition where it's a trial, and in that trial, the best among them will be selected to participate in the World Games in Germany in June 2023. We'll also be talking about the Gambia National Olympic Committee, who went on with their AGM, the annual general meeting, where they scrutinized what has been happening on the year, that is the last year, since they were elected as President, Secretary General, and all other positions. We'll also be looking at a roundup of Gambian players. How have they been performing in the European leagues? All that on tonight's Q Sports. Welcome and thank you if you're just joining us. This is Q Sports and I'm Mamudu Gajaga. Tonight, we're starting with the Scorpions of the Gambia. They'll be involved in two international friendly matches after they missed out in September. But in this November, it's World Cup year, World Cup month in Qatar. They will not be involved, of course, in the World Cup because they've been knocked out in the preliminary stages by Angola about 2 years ago. But they will be involved at least to keep their rankings and to make sure that they prepare very well for the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, Cote d'Ivoire 2023. And the only way to do that is to play against other nations that they're going to compete against. And this time, they'll be playing against the Democratic Republic of Congo and Liberia. These two matches will be played in Antalya in Turkey on the 14th and also the 20th, respectively. And some of the players who are in and out will give you more details. 5 new players have been invited by the Gambia coach, Yankuba Minte, a young player who break into the first team of Obi Odense in the Danish Superliga due to his recent form, earns him a first call-up. Jesper Cisse is another young player included in the squad for the first time. Ismaila Jom, a player for Portland Timbers in the MLS, Aliou Fadera and Sekou Touré. Hamza Bari makes his long-awaited comeback for the first time in more than 3 years, having returned to full fitness. Ibrahim Adabo, Steve Trawale, Ibu Adams, Modu Baro Alfoseni Jata, Sedi Janko and Sirif Sinyan are all out injured, while Ibrahim Okoli missed out for personal reasons.
Yeah, I'm very happy with this camp. It is since June ago that I saw my players, that we had the opportunity to be together. So this is very important for the March matches and to keep our chances alive to qualify for the second time in a row for the Africa Cup. I'm very happy to go to Turkey. It's a good opportunity, good infrastructure, good hotels and good weather circumstances. And we will play 2 games, what is also very good for me. That was one of my demands, at least to have 2 games to see the players in game situations. We miss some players. Several players are out with injuries, and some players are not released and had other problems. That's naturally sad, but it's another opportunity for new players to get their opportunity to prove themselves in national team duty. And I think we called up 5 players for the first time. Aliou Fidera, Yankuba Minte, Ismaila Jome, Sekou Touré and Jesper Cisse got their first senior call up. and probably they could make their debut in the national team, and all of them deserve this call-up because they are performing very well on club level. But the majority of the team who is called up is playing frequently with their clubs and is performing well. So I think we have a decent squad, and I think we can use this opportunity to get everything ready for the March matches. So I'm a happy coach and look ahead to this training camp.
And now let's talk about Special Olympics. These are a group of people who are involved in a particular sport, obviously athletics, and all that they had is intellectual disability. But their physical look, the way they talk, and how they look, they enjoy themselves. Over the weekend, there was a competition held, sort of a trial at the Independence Stadium handball court. And these people with intellectual disability are all students. They are competing among themselves to select the best two, male and female, who will be representing the Gambia at the World Games in Berlin, Germany 2023. For more details about this competition, I was there, and here is the highlights of it. Despite living with intellectual disabilities, these young boys and girls are excited to compete in this trial organized by Special Olympics Gambia, the leading voice in raising awareness about the abilities of people with intellectual disabilities. The trial began with a torch relay before the competitors ran 40 meters to select the best male and female athletes to represent the Gambia at the Special Olympics World Games in Germany. Omar Toure, the sports director, Special Olympics Gambia, gave details of the competition.
Okay, the reason why we organized the competition today, called the National Games, is in order for us to select the athletes that are supposed to compete at the World Games in Berlin next year June. So we organized this this competition trials today, just to be able to select the few athletes that will represent the country in Berlin. Currently we are looking at two, one male, one female, but altogether we will be 6 delegates living in the Gambia. Yeah.
Okay. Just describe the day for us. You talked about inclusivity, that is getting everyone on board.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, some of them are living with intellectual disability, but how important is it to be inclusive?
The reason why we are promoting inclusion is for the athletes to boost more power, I could say. Yeah, to be more confident when it comes to competition. You know, when they mix the people with without intellectual disabilities, it gives them more confidence to be able to compete with their colleagues. These are people that are very loving, that are very affectionate, people that are very easy to go with, people very honest. You know, it's very good working with them. If you just work with them, you'll know the type of people they are. They are very honest, and you know, they are good to be with. Yeah, they are very loving.
Are they also school going?
Yes. Okay. All these students here are from Methodist Special.
The Special Olympics is a global movement that uses sport, leadership and education to help athletes excel in their individual societies. Ibrahim Osar, a member of Special Olympics Gambia, says they might be disadvantaged with both physical, speech and intellectual disability, but they are able to reason and do things for their well-being.
Till now, people is not aware where disability are human beings. Still now, but I would think that we are not disabled, but we are inability. Now, disability is not inability. We can do what they can do.
Modu A.F. Bahum, the Councillor for Persons with Disabilities at the KMC, says people living with disabilities should not be discriminated against. He calls for inclusivity.
Liñ buga moy ñu am a Gambia fit for all. Mo waral be muy nguur gi, muy yeneen mbootaay aduna bi, muy council si, muy ñun ñi nga xam ne ñu
We want a Gambia that is fit for all. I am urging government, organizations, parents, and the society at large to make sure persons living with disabilities are included in our development agenda. Khadijaju, parent of one of these children living with intellectual disability, says those who have such children should support them with the best care as much as they do for people without disability.
Momo wulula ne ngin din si fasot kana fa ya topoto parce que mollem ala le fana ya di modla to nyante itopoto la fula nyango fana mbe metotis mbe tentula mbe jaila.
I am urging all parents who have such children to take good care of them because they are human beings given to us by Allah. I wish to thank the Methodist Mission in the Gambia for helping our children to be educated.
And now let's talk about football, community football, very popular in the Gambia because there is a sense of ownership. And in Brikama on Sunday, it was a final. Brikama, the host, played against Gunjur. Gunjur have defeated Brikama recently several times. They have a better head-to-head record than them. Even inside Brikama, as host, they usually beat them in the normal zonal competition. But this is like kind of a tournament that is a build-up to the main zonal competition. It is called the West Coast Region Zonal Competition. And this was the Super Cup because Gunjur were the defending champions. They played against Brikama, and Brikama won by 3-0. But to talk about how all the goals came about and how the match went, let's watch this. It was a spectacular display from Brikama against the team that had a better head-to-head record against them in recent years. In the first half, Sekuba Sise put Brikama in front with a simple finish after Babukar Silla's free kick was headed goalward. However, Gunjur's goalkeeper could only parry, allowing Sekuba Sise to tap into the net. Brilliant left winger Bubakar Sane scored twice early in the second half to make it 3-0 for Brikama. Sane's first goal came after a good control on the left, ran with pace and beautifully dribbled through the Gunjur defense before volleying into the net. Sane added a second beautiful goal, which earned him the man of the match performance. He beat a defender before putting a neat finish past the keeper. It could have turned out differently, as Gunjur had a big miss from the penalty spot just 2 minutes into the game, after keeper Ibrahim Fadera was adjudged to have fouled Lamin Silla in the box. Fadera went on to save Babukar Bojang's spot kick and the following rebound by parrying the ball. This is how an elated Bubakar Sane reacted to Brikama's win.
Amba coach la instruction no bortani wala no because for savo bitaka nyama mantran fibuka no so second half amba coach la tactical nadare no after goal change after playtani wala no al natan demani wala amba ni wino en kontan bakele no motivation di mo la ko tengay no because ndol hamom ni na because last year zone le mol bourde 2 times in a row homana wi.
We followed the instructions of our coach because things were not working well for us. But in the second half, it was good. We are very happy for this victory. It's kind of a revenge because Gunjur defeated us twice in the same competition last year. Sirif Mankajang, coach of Brikama, says they had to put a stop to Gunjur's recent dominance over Brikama.
The difference is what I put to the boys, that we are representing the biggest town in the country. Gunjur cannot just come at home and beat us. It has to stop from today. And make sure when you go, there must be tempo, intensity and concentration for the whole 90 minutes. We are bigger than them. Let's go on them and beat them. And I think it paid dividends.
Suleiman Barrow, coach of Gunjur, reflected on his side's costly mistakes in the game, especially the penalty miss.
You know, what went wrong for us, we could have capitalized on our chance that we had as a penalty. We had in the first minute of the game, we could not convert it. I didn't mean we convert that penalty. We could have been on top of the game. But unfortunately for us, we failed. We missed the penalty and then they punished us accordingly with the mistake from the back because we are not able to recover well, you know, from that penalty spot. So that's the first thing that went wrong. But and then secondly, we have so many new players that, you know, are involved in the team, you know, that are different from the last year's squad. So all these players need to learn the formation and the system, which will take time sometime before you get your system to work.
The giant trophy lifted by Brikama was donated by Lamin J. Sane, National Assembly member for Brikama South. The two sides will again face each other next weekend. And now, finally, let's talk about the Gambian National Olympic Committee, the body responsible for all Olympic sports in the country. And in that organization, they were having their annual general meeting over the weekend. And in that annual general meeting, that is where they will scrutinize the Secretary General's report, the financial report, and also how they've been spending their money, for good or otherwise. The members also have the opportunity to scrutinize the executive, ask them difficult questions, and even suggest to them. About that AGM, let's have this. The AGM is mandated by the Constitution for the committee to report to its members annually about activities of the GNOC. Among them is the budget, the financial report, the activity report, and the audited report. The president of the Gambia National Olympic Committee, Beatrice Allen, who chairs the event, says the Gambia will continue to participate in international competitions.
We look forward to participating in the African Games, the Anoka Youth Games, and the Anoka Beach Games in the future. The administration will continue to work with the respective national associations to prepare them for the games mentioned to ensure the Gambia's participation. 3. Commonwealth Games Federation. The Gambia is well grounded in the programs and activities of the Commonwealth Games Federation. As such, among various projects, the GNOC was able to secure a grant to support the qualification of our athletes to the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games. The implementation of this project is captured in the detailed report of the Secretary General. The GNOC is presently working with the government of the Gambia on preparing a team for the Commonwealth Youth Games scheduled to be held in Trinidad and Tobago.
Treasurer of the GNOC, Mohamed Jagana, gives highlights of revenue and expenditure of the year on review.
The surplus for the year was 1.5 million, as mentioned earlier. We had a depreciation charge of 419,000. There was a slight decrease or increase of debtors of 21,000. Increase or decrease of creditors, 184,000. There was a prior year adjustment of 153,000, bringing the total outflow from operating activities to 1,560,000.
Members of national associations affiliated to the GNOC had the chance to scrutinize the association's performance by raising queries, concerns, and give suggestions on how the association is being run. Both the Secretary General and Treasurer's reports were approved by members. Finally, on Q Sports, let's look at what Gambian players have been doing abroad, most precisely Europe. How have they been performing? Those who had minutes, are there any goals? Are there any very good contributions? We'll give you that in this roundup. Zulte Waregem came from behind at the Afers Stadium to secure a 2-2 draw against KV Mechelen. Aliou Fadero registered his 5th assist of the season when he set up Mamadou Sangare. GF38 Grenoble Foot moved third on the following the lock to their 1-0 win over Rodense. Senegalese Mamadou Diawara scored in the 61st minute. Sekou Touré played full 90 minutes while Abdoulaye Sanyang returned from injury and was introduced in the 72nd minute. Lamine Diallo opened the scoring as Brooke Cobban and Johan Roche grabbed 1 goal each in Adana Sports' 3-2 win over Pendiscos. Ibrahim Akoli, who managed 2 assists in 7 appearances, got his first goal of the season as he opened the scoring before setting up Mbaye. It ended Antaliaspo 4, Fate Karaguchim 2. Well, I'm afraid that's it for Q Sports tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Join us next week and have a pleasant night. Bye.